What up YouTube, I am your host ProfessorStix, back at it again with another Call of Duty Warzone video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the best controller settings for Rebirth Island, and I'll also be sharing with you some bonus tips at the very end. Some pros are using these items to help them gain an advantage on their aim. If this is your first time here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I make Warzone tips and tricks videos, and I share some of the best weapons in Warzone. Let's get right into it. Number one, you want to optimize your button layout. So we're going to jump right into the options menu here. And so as you can see here, I use the tactical flip. Now, the reason why I like using tactical is because the slide behavior is on R3, which is the same joystick for your aim. And so I like the fact that I can slide and aim at the same time. Also, I think it makes it a lot easier for me to slide cancel. And the other thing is I'm using flipped, which brings my aim down sight and my fire weapon to L1 and R1. And that's really important because it just shaves off those milliseconds when it's time to engage, instead of having to press my triggers all the way down on a scuff controller, which I even have digital triggers. Just to save a couple of milliseconds, I'm using the L1 and R1 to aim down sight and also to shoot my weapon. All right, guys, now we're gonna go to the sensitivity and the dead zone. Now, it's important that you know, to find your own dead zone and your own sensitivity, you need to jump into the game. And so we're going to do that right now. So you're going to want to land into plunder, make a marking here like this, and then put your dead zone. Go to options, put your dead zone down to 0, and you're going to see that your controller has stick drift. So you want to go in and kind of just adjust it until it stops moving. So I know the last value that I checked was 9. I'm going to go back to center. But you can see that it's still moving, which means that I need to increase my dead zone. I'm going to put it at 0.1. And so you can see that it's not moving anymore. All right, guys, see, I could still even maybe a little bit increase it one more. And there, now it's not moving. All right, so that's how you find your dead zone. All right, so for your stick sensitivity, it really is a personal preference thing. Now, I've been playing on 6.6 my entire Warzone career for the last year. I recently just switched to 9.9. And the reason why I switched to 9.9 is because I invested in something called precision rings. Now, these precision rings put a little bit more pressure on your joystick so that it makes it easier for you to be able to have more fine-tuned control over your aim. Now, you did see that I also have a KontrolFreek, and that's what I want to share with you guys at the end. That's the bonus tip. I kind of gave it away a little bit earlier, but here you go, guys. You want to jump into a private match or plunder and really just find what works for you. And so I went from 6.6 to 9.9, which makes it a lot easier for me to snap and turn on people, do 180s, or even just really quick movements. But then with the precision ring, it allows me to quickly stop my joystick and then quickly snap onto what I'm trying to aim on. And I think that's a huge advantage, especially in Warzone, where a lot of your fights are close range, especially if you're trying to take on multiple opponents. Huge. The next thing that you want to do is make sure that you adjust your aim down sight sensitivity multiplier. I've changed mine to 0.85, which just lowers your stick sensitivity when you're aiming down sight. And we know that's important because when you aim down sight, you want to have control over your aim. And so you don't want to be kind of your movement sensitivity, which is at 9.9. That's a little bit high. So at 0.85, that's reducing it by about 15%. And so it's going to bring it down for me to about a 7, maybe a 7.5. And that's going to be a little bit easier for me to control, which is closer to what I was using before at 6.6. All right, guys, so that's how you find your sensitivity. With the aim response curve, I use standard. Some people like dynamic. I used to use dynamic. Honestly, I think it's a personal preference thing. You want to turn off controller vibration. You definitely don't want that on. Aim assist is standard. Obviously, for PC, if you have FOV, you want to enable scale aim assist with FOV. You do not lose aim assist at any FOV. JGod has already disproved that. All right, guys, huge and very important. You want to make sure that you have contextual tap on your use/reload behavior. This means that every single time it's going to be tap to reload or to use but whenever possible, it's going to be hold square to reload. And so I think this is especially important, especially when you're running by doors. You can use it to close the door very quickly, and it's not going to activate your reload mechanic. Next, the important thing that you want to do is you want to apply all for armor plate behavior. This is going to allow you to apply all of your plates at the same time when you hold the animation once. Now, this is huge because when you're moving around trying to escape bullets, you want to be able to play at the same time. You don't want to have to worry about actually holding on to the triangle button or Y if you're on Xbox. And so I think it's huge, very, very huge to have this at apply all. It's definitely saved my life 100 times over now. And you can cancel the animation by double tapping on the same button. All right, guys, for your slide behavior, you want to have that obviously on tap. That's going to allow you to slide cancel a lot easier. For automatic sprint, this is again another personal preference thing. I like auto tack sprint. I find that it just makes my movement a whole lot better. Joe Woe has talked about how it increased his ability to move, that he's the movement king, right? Like he's one of the best, and all of the pros use auto tack sprint. The only thing that sucks about auto tack sprint is shotguns. The sprint to fire, that animation just messes you up. And so I haven't really figured it out, and that's why I don't use shotguns. So definitely take that into consideration. All right, guys, the other last one, another personal preference thing is disable parachute auto deploy. It's up to you if you want to use this. I don't think that it's important, but if you want to be able to land right at the last second before you hit the ground, grab a weapon very quickly, then go ahead and put that on. That is going to be a game changer, especially if you're one of the more aggressive play types. All right, guys, now I want to show you guys my controller very quickly. I have a SCUF controller, all right? And with the SCUF controller, I'm going to take off the KontrolFreek, which is a heightened KontrolFreek. I'll link to all of the items that I'm talking about in the description below. I have the precision rings. Now, don't mind this. I've been beating up this SCUF controller, but it's already raised on one side. So I have this joystick raised. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but it is raised above this one. Additional to that, I then have the KontrolFreek that I put on top of it. Now, what this does, it allows you to have more range in being able to control your shot. And this is important, especially at long distances. All right, this is huge at long distance because it's going to give you a little bit more control so that you can actually make those fine-tuned adjustments and hit those headshots. The other thing that I like about this is that it gives me a little bit more control over my character when I'm making moves around corners. And I think that that's super important. Now, like I said earlier, the precision ring adds a little bit more tension to the joystick. And that's huge because if you're trying to do a 180 and snap around and you hit the joystick all the way, it's not going to go all the way. It's going to give you some tension, but that's also going to allow you to snap back a little bit quickly and then use aim assist to kind of hold on and get that stick to your opponent. So I think that's super, super huge. Now, lastly, this is a SCUF controller, and so it comes with paddles. I don't know if you guys can see that. So it comes with paddles, and I have my left paddle mapped to jumping and my right paddle mapped to melee. You can put that as slide if you had it on the standard and not tactical button layout. And so that is another huge advantage, especially to people who play mouse and keyboard, because they have a lot of buttons laid out for them and they can do multiple things like bunny hop while aiming. They don't have to take their thumb or have to play claw or anything like that. And so if you don't want to play claw, having paddles helps a lot because you can jump, you can bunny hop and aim, and you don't have to take your thumb off and to use the joystick. Now, if you don't want to spend the money on a SCUF controller, and to be honest, I've had some issues with my SCUF controllers, but there are some alternatives for the PS4 controller. There is an attachment that Sony does sell that gives you back paddles. Unfortunately for Xbox, they're gonna have to invest in, like, I think it's an Xbox Elite controller. Lastly, this is just an added bonus. If you get palms that are sweaty in the heat of the moment and you know your controller slips out your hands a little bit, invest in some grip. All right, KontrolFreeks also has grip for your controller. Put that onto your controller and that's gonna absorb the moisture, give you that grip, and that's gonna allow you to have some cool hands when it comes down to the nitty-gritty moment where you gotta make that beautiful shot. All right, guys. Now, if you are interested in any of the items that I mentioned, like I said, I will link them in the description below to Amazon. that is a way that you guys can support the channel if you click on the link below and you buy the product there. If you're not interested in buying it, again, if you do click that link and you buy anything else from Deadzone, that's a little kickback that supports the channel, that helps me out, and then I can make some more great content for y'all. All right, so let's get serious for a sec. All of these things that I mentioned are just, you know, items. They're just accessories. You know, the precision ring is just an accessory. The settings in the game are there to help you find out what works best for you. But at the end of the day, you gotta practice. You gotta get into the game and practice. So if you don't have the time to play every day, before you get onto a regular competitive match, like in say Rebirth Island or a regular BR match, go into Plunder and warm up, or go into a private match and shoot some bots. Second, try to get in some reps every single day. Even if it's one match a day, try to get in some reps every single day, because that's gonna help you keep your shot warm and you're gonna continue to get better at aiming. The last possible tip I can give you guys is use a consistent loadout for the week. If you are using the Krig, use the Krig for the entire week. Get used to the recoil pattern. This is going to allow you to adjust your aim more naturally. Instead of having to think about the recoil, you're naturally going to be able to control the recoil because you've been using the same weapon for a long period of time. That's pretty much all the tips that I can give you guys to help you improve your aim. And honestly, let me know down in the comments below if any of these things helped you, or if there are some things that I missed, because there's always something that we can all learn together. Appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you can find your way back for more Call of Duty content. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.